The MasterPiece New Earth 2.0. Ajarn Sathittam Pensuk. The only mind-tuning master coach in the world. The author. The MasterPiece New Earth 2.0 before the beginning. The profound sense of life. We'll return to the beginning of time where people still slumbered, the time where humans have never expected crises and changes for humanity to rediscover a completely new way to live. It's not something visible to naked eyes either. No one can predict that humans will be faced with a great crisis that happens once in a century from COVID-19 pandemic. No one knows human civilization will be tested and challenged once again. Around 12,500 years ago, the Earth was hit by a comet. A great explosion shook the ground. This is the great impact that saw the end of the Frozen Age, instigating warmth and heat in the world. Humans have discovered fire, and civilization has officially begun in this world. Our ancestors moved away from hidden caves, living in fear and turmoil, and started to live in multiple dimensions. The truth allowed us to discover humanity that made us different from animals or other species. The truth that humans owned their lives. This will be the most monumental evolution of humans for 10,000 past years. We've discovered a sophisticated life. We've discovered hope and meanings of life on this planet. The Great Quest began 5,000 years ago when Prince Siddhartha of the Shakya dynasty escaped from the palace in search of enlightenment until he became the Buddha. 5,000 years ago, religions and spiritual knowledge were established. 2,500 or 2,600 years ago, the Buddha was incarnated into this world, the great prophet who discovered the noble truth of life on this planet, the true spiritual enlightenment. My dear, this is the most important transitioning moment of humanity. In the past, the melting of the North Pole ice did not reach the critical level. The heat did not ignite the angry forest fire in Australia or everywhere in the world, including Doi Inthanon in Thailand. At the same time, the intensity of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions have never reached this level of catastrophe in the past. The air pollution or even the pandemic of microvirus also shock humanity as a whole. Today we've been through these incidents while forgetting our detrimental actions done to the planet. We're stomping and hiring the world with human actions. Deforestation, pollution from industrial sectors or any actions detrimentally affecting the world and living beings. My dear, today is the moment of a new beginning to overcome the crisis and create opportunities after the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. Humanity will face the writing of destinies once again. With determination and its provocation, we'll win against the COVID-19 pandemic. Today we have to ask ourselves, will the world stay the same? Are we ready to accept the truth of the new world that is starting from the rapid changes in human living methods never before seen? My dear, I know this is an important turning point where we cannot choose our path to this point. It doesn't matter how we have come to this point, but it's more important how we choose the path we're going to take. My dear, the new earth does not only mean changes in lifestyle and culture of living together in this world, but also includes a new way for humans to live in the most sophisticated way in this world. In the present, it's undeniable that technology offers billions of people convenience all over the world, and people utilize them to achieve the most excellent living process known to us as algorithms. This operating system allows us to live in this world while retaining our values and meanings, free from the collective community of former lifestyles. The human world has arrived at the most important historical turning point, the change that allows us to discover our true spirit. This is the change that enables many of us to return, review, and crystallize spiritually. This is the change that will allow many of us to truly discover ourselves. My dear, I know that this moment everyone is waiting to live our lives in the new world. We're waiting to live in the way that we've chosen for ourselves, the method that will enable us to live a most worthwhile life in this world. The method that we must be up to date on the changes of the world that are teaching us to see more values in our lives than what we initially believed. Life is not exclusive to working for payment to buy time and happiness or pursue happiness in a credulous or confusing attempt. To truly be with oneself is the discovery of peace born from spiritual awakening. This is the beginning that we're learning to brave through the time of urgency. This is the time that we're learning the way to live our lives more than just a survival instinct of disdain and dishonor. Return to see the values of life. Return to see the values of ourselves. Return to feel life and love. Most of us don't have much time left in this world. It's important to tune ourselves with the universe. We must be experiencing the life that attracts the desirable into our lives. Life that is filled with enthusiasm. Life that is filled with fortune. In the new earth, we may have to adapt ourselves to live the most of our time. Like that, we'll know the truth, we cannot let the time pass by wastefully. We'll begin to plan and design our lives anew in a way we're going to discover, in a way we're realizing as humans who have discovered the true secret of life through subconsciousness, in which we're tuning and connecting it to the new knowledge. Such is the intense vibration through subconsciousness to the enlightenment in the level of intelligence. We'll spend our left time on this day and second to prepare for the new earth, where we'll be the one who truly gets to choose and write our destinies. My dear, I feel aspiration. I feel life filled with profound experiences. The learning of life in this wonderful time is the moment where I know that it's time to completely revolutionize thoughts, subconsciousness, and conventional means of living before we have no place in this world. If we don't change the world, eventually the world will change us. We've arrived at the most important moment at this second, where we must return and change our lives. Ready to change ourselves to change as the world as we desire. This is the beginning where everyone must know together that we've arrived at this point, the point where we no longer have to be entrapped or be the victim of circumstances that render us panicked. Circumstances. We're discovering the secret of life, the secret that allows every human to find fortune in themselves. The secret that allows many of us to know the truth of life, returning our lives to excitement. Return and feel the wondrous life. Life is not only breathing. Life does not mean living day by day, but life means a canvas for us to paint on the profoundness of life, which we're discovering the secret of ourselves, ascending us beyond the world. The time of the beginning is now. This is the moment of revolutionizing the subconsciousness, the time of setting up the new mind system. The time of realization of the new world, new spirit, and the new life in the same body may have begun for all of us, depending on whether we dare enough to choose our excellent life. We must promise upon ourselves, we're ready to prove the values of ourselves. We're ready to vibrate life with great determination without expecting anything in return. It's time for everyone to keep our promise to ourselves. This is the promise that saw us born in this world. This promise was made long before this moment of crisis. It came with our mission, our decision to be born in this world before the pivotal turning point of the history of mankind. We're here with this purpose and mission, the mission in which we're changing this planet, the mission in which we'll live our lives to the greatest on this earth. My dear, we're receiving the messages from the universe to use our enlightening instinct and the stimulation inside our souls to awake ourselves to live as humans, to live the greatest and most powerful life. The process of spiritual awakening are vibrating us intensely and powerfully for us to discover our true selves, for us to reach the spiritual enlightenment that is the connecting of this awakening state, for many of us to comprehend the mission and responsibility of our decision to be born in this world. Each of us is a soul incarnated in search of the experience of humanity, and countless communication of the universe has given its affirmation. Ajarn Sathittam Pensuk. The only mind-tuning master coach in the world.